Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us for this session at the Animal Bodywork Virtual Conference. I'm your host, Tiffany Bodge from DogWorks Canine Massage Therapy. And today I'm joined by Joan Sarita from Therapy Corner Store. So, let me share my screen. But first, a quick thanks to our sponsors who've made this conference possible. Our platinum sponsor, Power of Touch, and our gold sponsors, Equilearn, sorry, AAETT, Animal Bodyworks Academy of New England, and Freely Forward Bodywork. And of course, our silver sponsors. Please visit their sponsor pages for the gifts and offers they have provided for you and engage with them in the Facebook group. Dear Joni, it's so great to have you here with us today. We're going to be talking about the hidden art of aromatics. But before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Do I have to?
That would help.
Well, hi everybody, and I'm really touched by some of the welcoming little chat box saying hello to people that I know from way back when, and I'm so honored to be here, and I'm so honored that NABCAM has asked me to present a subject that is very dear to my heart, that I'm so passionate about, and I want to be able to send my information out so you guys will be able to use it. I am Joan Sarita, and I have been studying aromatics for probably over 3 decades. Um, this is an incredible platform for me to talk to everybody around the United States. I have studied from phenomenal aromatic instructors, from Jade Schutz, from beginning to advanced clinical work. Carolyn Ingraham, I've studied for years and have followed her for a good 20 years with Pharmacognosy, which is self application. And then I have studied with Catherine Bird a long time ago from Australia when equinology was in Petaluma. I'm also I was a international body worker, mainly for performance horses on the hunter jumper world. I did go to Texas. I was almost arrested under the massage laws over there. They don't really hold women very high regard. They think that you are like a madam running um, a prostitution ring over there. Now it's changed, and I can say that my daughter is over there working very hard in the reining world and has worked under um, Olympic riders. And so I'm passing on my legacy with my aroma work and my body work. I was co-founder of Northwest School of Animal Massage with Lola Michelin, and I'm still proud to have her as a friend and a mentor to this very day. And I also managed and worked under Olivia Newton-John in California for many years. And we were friends until she passed. So I have a lot to share today, and time is running out because this is a big subject. So I think I want to start talking if I can.
Let's get started. It's
Great.
all yours, John.
Oh, great. Okay. So this subject is the hidden art of aromatics. And I wanted to just share some of the things that are really important to me that you might get something out of. And you can also look at who I studied with, some of the places I've studied with. But I wanted to dedicate this workshop, this hidden art of aromatherapy, on behalf of the valuable benefits that the aromatics hold. And I wanted us all to think about the gratitude we can give to all the plant species, the outer and inner knowledge from plants, and the relationship it holds with animal kingdom. And that has been an incredible, valuable lesson to observe the animals working with the plants. I want to start with a true story of a person I know and have always admired, a man who taught me many healing secrets in the world of plants and bioenergetics, especially when I came home from almost passing away from AML. I had leukemia. This man was a big helper in me with flower essences, healing with a lot of the bioenergetics, and I give him my whole heart. And that's also his dog Raven, who I went to go and help one year at their farm. John Easterling, he's a real life Indiana Jones, and he searched high and low in the jungles around the globe for precious gemstones. No kidding. He would really hunt for these precious rocks. And there was a point in his career when it was all about the hunt and the pursuit of money. And sometimes we get that way in our work. We kind of lose our intention. But one year on a trip, John went deep into the Peruvian rainforest where he fell deathly ill on the jungle floor. He was alone and dying, and a miracle happened. An indigenous tribe of men, they were traveling on a path on their way home only to find John laying there, dying. They knew by looking at John what he had been poisoned with, and the men carried him back to the village. There, the shaman stayed with John for days, slowly bringing him back to life with the herbs they prepared, the prayers, and the gratitude. They also collected dew from the plants and flowers for John to ingest. The shaman talked with John about the blueprint energy the dewdrops hold, and a good example for you guys is structured waters. Another is the batch flower, which is the proper name, but in US we call it Bach flower remedies. So one would be like the rescue remedy, which everybody's heard about. When John slowly returned to health and felt more like himself, he realized that the gems he had been hunting for years were not the precious gems he thought he would attain. The community of this Peruvian tribe came into his life, and John realized that the hidden gems were actually Mother Nature's plants that were right in front of him his whole time. So John stayed for months, learning the ways of healing herbs and essences, and studied to become a shaman. From there, he devoted his life to helping the tribe and the native Peruvian people farm their land and also protect their land from the corporate businesses that were reaping, harvesting their land. So this day, John helps these tribal people, and they thrive, and they're very thankful. This true story shows us that our healing journey is a true art. Whatever your modality may be out there and what you're into, you may be seeking other modalities to add to your practice, but we must think of what we do as a gift and an art. So staying present in your work is most of all very important. Being patient and allowing our work to be transmitted to one's body, processes what it is receiving is also very important. For my life, the hidden art becomes aromatics, whether EOs, which are essential oils, herbs, hydrosols, flower essences, clays, macerated oils. They flew right into my lap when I was working, even doing body work. They just kept coming up at me. So I didn't push it away. I embraced it. And I started with 10 essential oils and learned all about them. And I have to just reiterate that Lola and I both, many moons ago, learned from a vet who I won't mention the name of some oils that we kind of used improperly. And we kind of learned the wrong way. So the wrong way actually inspired us to, for me at least, to ignite a spark to learn how to use these aromatics more correctly. So I use them in my massage practice first by just having the client feel good. And then I used it as an introduction of announcing myself with the animals. That's a big, they really receive you with aromas. And they never forget aromas because it's an association, okay? it would get to the point when I walked into a regular barn, like once a month or so, or a home for a dog or a human massage, the animals would light up and horses would whinny and have a very big greeting. The animals knew what I was there for, and cats, and this is for Lisa because I did include a little bit of a cat thing for you. Cats would be the first to appear right at my aroma box. And we all have these, myths about the cats keeping them away from the essential oils. But actually, if they actually want to come and sit next to the box, it's okay for them to do that. So it's kind of as if like an animal communication was starting through the aromatics, and the animals would talk back with their body language for me. So it inspired me to get more in depth and study. So now I have thousands of cases under my belt with body work and aromatics, and also infoceuticals and structured waters. So a brief list of cases that I've worked with are like end of life, many kinds of abuse, illness, lameness, difficult body work, and emotional issues, which is a very big one and sometimes very advanced. Okay. So not all animals want to be touched at first. So I've used aromatics to open their heart, open their window, or just get their trust. And that became a big play in my work. I wanted to create a chart for all of you to make it easy for you to use your aromatics in this convention here. With whatever modality you work with, aromatics can be the cherry on the cake. Believe me, they really can. And they can even deal with root causes if you're patient enough. So how aromatic work can create ease and flows for you. Let's look at the reference pages. If you have them in front of you, that's fine. There is a link on the reference charts. There's a body system chart with aromatic remedies. It's a link we gave you. And if not, just take notes and you can click on the link for yourself.
And Joni, all of the links are in the chat box for everyone to see.
Great. Okay, good. I gave you a body systems chart with aromatic remedies, and this is a short list now, guys, because I mean, there's hundreds of aromatics out there. So this is just a short list for you, whether they're essential oils and hydrosols, which I highly recommend using, flower essences, you can bind, dried herbs, macerated oils, and carrier oils. How does the reference chart work? It shows the body systems you might be dealing with when you go and work on an animal, and you are dealing with an ailment that might be related to that system. The next column over on the reference chart shows what aromatic or remedy might be appropriate for that choice or for you think the ailment that you're dealing with. On the physical body system, as a body worker, you are definitely dealing with one or more of the physical body systems. The aromatics that are listed are a good start and backed up by research when using them with animals. The research goes, I didn't want to list all the universities and the professors and people who have all the research backed up in this, but I do go into it in depth in my classes. These aromatics are also very popular with animals, and around 36 of them that I've listed have been listed as regular use and probably some of the most popular accepted selected essential oils with animals. As body workers, a common ailment that is reported in animals in our line of work can be like listed as sore muscles, tendons, ligaments, injuries, and range of motion issues. So most of the time we can take a healthy or a health history from the vet or client. We can palpate the animal to see what we can feel. We can look at the whole picture and get a plan formatted for the session. And although at times, I don't know about you, but for me, at times I've made plans and then all of a sudden, halfway through the session, they change because of the animal. So you have to really pay attention to that. But I know we as practitioners have a good goal. Our intent here is to help. This is what we all want to do. And we want to see results. I mean, we can't always see results, but most of the time we can. And so with aromatics, this is where it really comes into play. The art of aromatics, let's say there's an ailment you are working with and you are a little unsure how to go about supporting the animal. Okay, let's see. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, I went too far. Hang on just a second, guys. Okay, so we're talking about an ailment, okay, and you're kind of unsure about how to support that animal. And you've done your body work, or maybe you've tried, but there seems to be, where am I? A disconnect, or you feel that you think that you can go a little bit more. You got to open something. You're just intuitively you feel kind of a blockage. Something's missing. Okay, this is where the aromatics come into play with the animals. So you try offering maybe an essential oil or a hydrosol that might have a chemical component to help the body support what you might feel if it's presenting itself. So how do you know what aromatic to choose? So in this slide, there is a link to a video that might give an example. I'm not going to show it because I've been timing my speech here and I don't want to run out of time. So if we have more time, I'll show it. It is of Raven, and I will talk just briefly about the case. This is a good example of showing that I was called out to work on the dog because of stomach issues. And when I got there, I brought my oils and I was asking health history. And then what happened was I said, oh yeah, and we forgot to tell you, the dog goes out every morning and goes to the orange tree and bites into the oranges. Okay. And they thought that the dog was just playing with the oranges and it was fun. But what the dog was actually doing, because it was a young shepherd, black shepherd, as you saw in the picture, the dog would bite in just over and over again, bite into the rind of the orange. And there are chemical constituents in that rind that make the essential oils. And what they do is they help get rid of inflammation. And like the sweet orange is known for helping support animals that are teething. And the mouth is also associated with a digestive system. So obviously, though, the animal was getting stressed, having pain in its mouth, it kind of transferred pain to the stomach. But as soon as we started to find the essential oils and aromatics that the dog needed, the stomach pain started to go away. And the dog just, inhaled probably the essential oils for a couple of weeks, and it grew less and less time they had to offer it to the dog. And sure enough, the dog outgrew everything, and the pain slowly went away. So that was a really nice resort. But who would have known that, right? If you don't study sometimes the chemical components of your essential oils and what they're good for with animals. Another example, you have a sprained hamstring muscle or muscles in the horse or dog. So offering aromatics through application of inhalation first. You want to do that first. You want to stimulate the olfactory bulb, and that's very important. As soon as that's going, the process goes to the brain, and then the brain kind of figures out where the receptors go up the neurons, and it kind of figures that where do I need to go in the body because of these chemical constituents? Where do I need to go to address inflammation? How and what oils would you use for inflammation? Some of the big ones are yarrow and German chamomile, the ones with the blues, the chamomile. So those help. And then you could use a comfrey macerated oil as a synergy if you wanted to. I like to use aloe vera a lot, aloe vera gel, when I am working with hairy animals, or hairy men if you if you have it, if you do human massage work. But anyway, aloe vera is great, and some people will go, well, yeah, but aloe vera is water, water based, and essential oils are they're more oil. But the thing, the science behind that is what's being done is that when you use sometimes a water base, it repels and pushes oils. So what it's going to do is it's going to push the oils faster through the layers of the skin, whereas a carrier oil is going to hold that essential oil on top of the hair follicles and pores and slowly make its way down into the system, into the bloodstream. So those are some applications that I go into in my courses. So now let's look at the emotional system with the aromatics. And when dealing with animals in shelters, which a lot of people do, they go and volunteer, or animals that have moved from home to home and they get rehomed, being abused, they retain trauma. They can get very nervous in shelters, and then they start to eat really fast, and you have problems when you take them home because they eat their food really fast or they're frantic. So that's literally a trauma for the animal. They retain these type of emotions in the physical realm, in the brain, soft tissue, fascia, muscles, ligaments, and in the blood. Because when the heart beats, it clamps and presses and lets out blood. But what it also is doing is it is imprints holographic messages on the cells. Okay. And those cells have messages that go through the body and are sent to areas and regions of the body, organs of the body that need those messages to function. Essential oils go through the blood. They have a lot of messages imprinted. And it's a whole nother science that I teach in my advanced module 2 course, but it's just so fascinating how fast essential oils can work. Hydrosols are phenomenal, and they're more subtle, and they're safer, and they do get the job done. So that's another thing to consider. An example of this is fear with in the emotional system. So what kind of fear? Because there's many types of fear. If you're dealing with stomach issues, you can find that the lower back is tender or the abdominal region feels hard. You can offer essential oils that have to do with stomach ailments that are induced by fear, such as German chamomile, rose, like Rose Absolute, carrot seed, fennel, or peppermint. And if it is not associated with the stomach, then what will happen is the animal might smell it or it may not be interested at all. And if that's the case, you go on to the next oil that might deal with the stomach, which could be fennel. So fennel, I'm going to tell you, is really interesting because fennel deals with the microbiome imbalance. It actually can help support gut flora back to balance. But when it's a severe case, you want a specialist involved. If you know that the diet and other issues might need to be suggested, then use a professional nutritionist or somebody that's a specialist in that field to help you as a team. But you can still continue to offer the fennel essential oil or hydrosol every day until they don't need it anymore. So what do I mean by offering the aromas? Okay. So if you know the ailment that you think you're dealing with, you can look at the body system chart and you will have a group of aromatics you can select from. Some of them have overlapping actions. Some of them you can use singly. You can offer that group of aromatics. So the animal will show you if they are interested in the plant remedy by their body language. So inhalation, there's a difference between smelling for dogs and sniffing. Okay. But that's a body language indicator. Licking, yawning, not stress. Well, stress yawning is an indicator, but yawning, blinking, barking, there's a lot more. But if the animal wants it, and especially topically, they will usually show you by moving a part of their body towards you. So sometimes pushing into your hands, like dogs will, like kind of scoot back into you or change their position. And then this is an inviting time for you to go ahead and apply your massage with essential oils that are diluted. If the animal is shut down emotionally, then this takes more time for both you and the animal. The trust is a big factor in the healing process. And I will say that in the emotional realm, I do have a big article coming out in AIA, it's Association International of Aromatics, about something, a case that happened in one of my classes with Northwest School of Animal Massage and Therapy Corner Store at my farm. We had students come and I taught an aromatics class, and I've never experienced a case like this before. So I had to write it out and I submitted it. And it's a phenomenal story. And I'm going to be sharing it through the school, through Therapy Corner Store when the article comes out. But it's kind of a secret right now until it gets released. But it is phenomenal. So just knowing that sometimes if you're dealing with emotion, usually it can go into, like if you're dealing with aggression, it can go into staging where you have to bring an animal behaviorist in or someone who works the shelter because the dog is going to be euthanized and they want to do everything they can to save it, and they bring you in using your body work and your aromatics to kind of retrain the program in the dog's mind so it doesn't become associated with like a man in the baseball cap with fear and aggression. So you have to stage those. Those are more advanced. Then it can be very simple where it just takes a couple of times with aromatics, with inhalation, and you can get a shift, which I have also done with Lola Michelin with a rogue horse. So that's another story. I've got tons of stories that are fascinating. So to recap so far, I am talking about aromatics that have chemical compounds that are very concentrated. These constituents in the aromatics have actions to bring an ailment support, relief, or back to balance. And I talk about that more in the reference sheets. So cats. So Lisa, I'm dedicating this to you because a lot of people say this, but Lisa said, could you please just do a little bit on cats because I feel they always get the short end of the stick and left out. So yes, I do teach a whole short course on cats at Jade Schuetz School, which is aromaticstudies.com. And Jade is also a massage body worker too, but she's a phenomenal person. So I'm going to show you a little video, but first, before I do, I just want to say that you will have better results if you use hydrosols with the cats. They're safer, they can be ingested, and they do a really great job. You can use dried herbs. They love to roll around in dried herbs. You can use essences, nutrients. Cats love to lay in them. And I want to tell you that in this video, I don't want people to call the animal patrol on me because I have a cat in a cage, but This is how I treat some cats when I'm at a class because the classroom is so big. You need to keep cats in a very small area so you can watch their body language, but you need to allow to give them chances to inhale the hydrosols, or you drop certain herbs, like maybe, a foot apart, so they can go and select that herb if they want to, or they can go and select the hydrosol, which we spray on a rag and stick in between the bars of the kennel. And that way they can sit and use it. And this cat you're going to see a month before fell from a beam in our barn, and nothing was broke, but she was still quite depressed. So we used her in our workshop. So I hope you enjoy this little video. Okay.
I think we were just seeing the full screen instead of, there we go.
This is rose hydrosol.
Seeing him, it's too self-select.
And you see the herbs.
She's licking.
She licked.
She's like, yeah.
If she wanted to, she could get up and walk away from the rose hydrosol. But here she chooses. Now she's turning her head because she doesn't want to move back. She's turning her head because she wants to inhale it from that distance. And that's how part of body language is very big in using aromatics with animals, and getting more accurate results instead of dealing with 100 oils and not knowing the body language of an animal. You could, it's just, you want to be more efficient in your work. So that little video is, her main thing was the rose, and rose is for trauma. But it also brings up emotions in animals where they feel more comforted. And she also liked rose petals as well. I will say that after we did the rose essential oil, she was very open to getting very brief massage. And that was really welcoming. So sometimes you can use hydrosols at the beginning of your work to enhance a cat to play with you and be ready to kind of get some body work, or to at least assess the cat if you want. So the ease of the aromatic work is when the animal really resonates with aromatics that are offered. And it inhales the aroma as long as it needs to. And when this method is delivered correctly and with awareness on your part, the rest seems to flow together. The animal knows its own dosing level. After the animal has had enough of the odors, you're done doing your massage or your acupressure or acupuncture, whatever modality you use, they usually will go into a healing sleep state. This is Yum Yum. Yum Yum she had anxiety, and she wouldn't eat out of her dish, her bowl, morning and night. She was terrified for some reason. She had a phobia. It just started out of nowhere. We had her teeth looked at, took a lot of health history, and this is the end result of a session I did with Carolyn Ingraham by Zoom, who I can do Zoom consults and help people with their animals, practitioners. If you're using essential oils, I can be on a case with you and we can talk through it. But this is the end result. And you do not want to wake them up when they're in a sleep state. A lot of the clients will want to touch their fur babies and say sweet words to them, even with horses. But you do not want to do that because it's going to interrupt their central nervous system. Their immune system has the constituents and the chemicals in these aromatics have stimulated the immune system. And sometimes when you're healing, you just go to sleep. It can be briefly. I've had clients that have the session where they don't go to sleep right away. They've come to me, they go home, the animal sleeps all night long and wakes up. So they can rest for long periods as well. So it's just amazing the results that you can get. One thing that I want to let you know is that you can find out more about the actions the plants hold if you want by reading great books on the subject. You want to know each action of aromatic remedy is important, especially for safety reasons, and knowing that the actions and makeup of the plant come easily. But for me, I had to study years and years and years because I do not retain information very well. So I want to let you know that I am constantly referring to reference books from years back to present day aromatics. I'm always learning about new things with this field. So my building my reference charts have really saved me in my work. It's made it easy, and it just makes the whole session flow a lot better. So another thing is the ease. I would say when you're looking at the reference chart is knowing the health history too, and knowing the body language. That's where a lot more ease comes in. The flow is watching the animal inhale the aroma. That is kind of the correct match for that time, that session. The animal will start to become calmer, the eyes more relaxed, blinking or some yawning. And the cherry on the cake, which is kind of a weird metaphor, but it is when the animal lies down and goes to sleep. That is a big, big body language where you've kind of, the session is closed and you've done your job. So I just want to, before I get to kind of the end here, I wanted to just touch briefly on another example. So let's say you're working with a dog that seems to be uncomfortable and you find out that the animal had an old injury. And by watching the body language and offering the aromatics, the dog will slowly change its position by presenting a body part. So they're either going to move away or they're going to move closer. Some animals don't want to be touched, but it usually resolves to where they do. Usually the animal will, what was I going to say? Let me skip down here. I've talked about aloe vera. That's a big deal. Okay, so I think the last part is of aromatics in your work and how can you use them in your work. I used my aromatics in my work for around 25 years. And I have to say that I didn't use it on every single session I did, but they just came in so handy for me. Now I know that a lot of practitioners out there have myofascia and manual ligament therapy or acupressure or Reiki or other modalities, and you can kind of combine them, and you kind of get a feel for confirming what you think you're feeling, just so that you can apply it to get more results or help heal that animal. I use aromatics the same way. I use it in body work. I find that massage and acupressure are just phenomenal. But I can also confirm the body language and the ailment with the aromatics. So sometimes I can actually get to the root cause of a case in advance cases with aromatics. The flow is watching the animal inhale the aroma. That's the correct match for that time. And the animal is just amazing just to watch them. The aromatics do their job. You don't have to do anything else after you've offered them or applied them. The animal has the body language to show you, and the aromatics just do your job, and you're a skilled worker with your massage or acupuncture or body work. So I just wanted to talk just briefly about dilution rates real fast. There are many, there's a great book, Guide to Blending Essential Oils by Jade Schutz. She has a great reference, but there are a lot of essential oil books that deal with dilutions, not a lot with animals. So there are animal books out there that I would look at their dilution charts because they're a lot less. So 2 to 4% is a great dilution. And I just show you the ratios, like a 15 ml bottle equals 250 drops. You want to put your 6 to 10 drops of concentrated essential oils into a 15 ml bottle, and then add anywhere from 10 to 15 mils of carrier oil. That's all you need. It is so powerful. And then I know this talk is just kind of like the tip of the iceberg, but I would really love it if you want to even get a touch of my module one, it's a briefer module one version on the NABCAM site, because I find that if you can learn how to use aromatics more efficiently, you don't have to waste your time hunting through 26 oils and keep offering them and ODing the animal on the odors. You'll get the animal burnt out. Another thing I also teach is that you always want to kind of address the physical realm of things before you get to the emotional realm, because you can actually shut down an animal and put it into a healing sleep mode, and then you can't work on the physical issues either, because you don't want to disrupt that animal. So it would be really cool if I'm here. I'll answer any questions. You can always get a hold of me on my email, which I'll go over that. But as you can see, we've offered many things for you guys. And I hope this helps. I mean, I've got so many stories and I just didn't know what to present. So I tried to stay along the theme here. And I hope it wasn't too boring.
It was great.
Thank you for letting me talk.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Joan. Sarah, we might have a couple questions, time for a couple questions.
Sure. We have a lot of questions, Joan. So any that we don't get to, I'll share with you so that you can answer them on our Facebook page for the conference. First question that came into the chat: do you put the aromatics on yourself, the animal client, or do you use a different medium?
So they're talking about application, obviously. And this is a really good question. What I do is, like for most animals when I'm introducing them, is I hold the bottle in my hand and I cover the orifice to where it's just level right here, and I hide it in my hand. And this is a big safety factor. I've had a horse grab a glass bottle out of my hand, and I've had to grab it out of the throat, just freaking out. Okay. I've had a dog grab and run because I've put oils on the ground. And sometimes I do allow them to be on the ground or on a sofa, but most of the time I'm holding it. I let them inhale it. And if they're really, really interested and want to almost eat the bottle, then yes, I will put the oil on my fingers and I will, I do dilute, but yes, in advanced cases, I don't dilute some oils depending on how the animal wants it. So I just rub it on my finger and it will evaporate. They're very volatile. It will go into my blood system, but I've never gotten sick from it. I use really good clinical oils, organic or wild crafted. I've got great vendors. If I used something from Michael's or something that had, synthetic or was cut, I could get sick, but I've never had a problem. So yes, I do touch them at times. If I do massage, I will put aloe vera, the oil that I want to use for maybe a massage, and then I will rub it in. Sometimes I'll just do a finger and go down along the spine. It just depends on what I'm working with.
Great, thank you. Several people did ask where you source your aromatics from.
I want to tell you something. When I started this field, nobody would tell me. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It was like everybody was hiding this. They didn't want to share their sources. I have a lot of sources I can give you. I'll give you Aromatics International locally. They are a small farmed family company in Colorado. Locally, Eden's Garden. They farm some great oils. One of my favorites is Florahana. There's a US portion of it, but they are from France and Japan, and they combine together. I also go to Carolyn Ingraham, and she sources now. She had to have somebody take over in Turkey because of the tariffs in the UK. Tariffs haven't helped the prices. So I have a lot more sources, but those are the gems.
The first one you said, Aromatics
International, yes.
International.
Yes. I don't do network marketing oils, although I know a lot of people use doTERRA and maybe some other oils. I have doTERRA oils from way back when, but I'm on the sustainability side, and essential oil herbalists really look down upon us aromatic people with essential oils because we use a lot of plant product to get a few drops. So I deal with companies that are very sustainable based. And I also get my lavender from Julie Duke Apothecary. She's on the San Juan Islands. That's a lavender grosso. That's more for respiratory and calming, where lavender augustifolia is more for open wounds and skin.
Fantastic. I think maybe one more question, and then I'll provide you with the other ones. Something that is an excellent question, I think. Are there contraindications using essential oils?
Of course there are. That's the end of that. Yeah, there is. I in my courses I have a safety portion, and I go into contraindications. There are oils that are photosensitive and phototoxic when hit by the sunlight. There are also oils that you don't want to use for like cleaning in your house with cats around, any of the pines or any of the citruses. So yes, this is a very big subject.
Great. Well, thank you. I will collect all of the questions from the chat and provide you with a little more organized list so that you can have that.
And thank you, everybody. I'm so happy that everybody came to see me. I thought everybody would be out demonstrating or something because I'm probably almost the last of the day. But
All right. Well,
thank
thank you, Joni.
Yeah.
That's a wrap for our session on the hidden art of aromatics. Thank you again for joining us and sharing such amazing information. I'm sure it's going to be super helpful for everyone attending, as well as those who upgraded their ticket and will be watching the replays. I want to remind everyone that Joan has provided a freebie for everyone in our event swag bag. That's the body systems chart with the aromatic remedies that we dropped in the chat box earlier. She's also provided a bonus for anyone who upgraded their ticket, and it's $35 off Animal Aromatic Science Module 1. That's a $35 value. And if you haven't upgraded yet, you still have some time to do so. Head to the event website after this session and click the upgrade button in the menu. Now, before we wrap up the session, Joni, can you tell everyone where to find you and how to connect?
Yeah, I'm usually hiding on my farm in Montesano, Washington. But in my apothecary, you can get a hold of me at my name, Joan Sorita, Sorita, at iCloud.com. I also have a Patreon, and it's free if you want. I mean, of course, I like when people send me $1 or something because all the money goes to donations. I make product for people who are in need for their animals and such. But Patreon at Joan Sorita. And then I'm on Instagram as well.
Awesome. All right, well, that's all we have tonight. If you haven't signed up for those door prizes, get those in now because Lisa's going to be drawing for those soon. All right, thank you so much.
All right, we'll see you guys at the wrap up, top of the hour. And yeah, and we'll be announcing all the winners of the prizes there.